All right, chat. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Um, and my bad, my bad. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go. What we feeling? We feeling green. Let's get that green. You feel me? We feeling green today. And I'm from Florida. Watch out if a nigga green. You feel me? You feel me? But all right, chat. We finna get into this. What the hell happened to the infamous series?
What'd I miss?
Basically, Bertrand's been telling everyone that, you're the devil.
Oh, nice.
What was the first Infamous game you ever played? Chances are your answer also dictates which game you think is the best, because over just 5 years and 3 games, the Infamous series changed drastically. Like a superhero honing their power set,
Right.
each new Infamous installment morphed into something new. Something that was supposed to be the ultimate version of itself. But
Right.
no amount of power was enough to keep the series from fading away.
Why?
Sucker Punch Productions was taking a pretty big chance when the original Infamous hit the PS3 in 2009.
Classic. In 2009, I was 7, 8 years old. I think 2009. I'm probably 7, 8 years old, depending on what time it released. But man, I never played this when it first dropped. I never played this game when it first dropped. But what I will say is that this game this is a cult classic. Like, this is one of them games, like, if you talk to a gamer, like a real person who likes playing video games, who you know what I'm saying, knows about this, Infamous is a cult classic, and we need a remastered or another one. I don't care what happened, what the politics or anything of that is. We need another Infamous. Let's start a petition or we riot. I'm playing. And GTA, don't ban me, Twitch.
Having created the highly stylized stealth platformer Sly Cooper for Sony in 2002,
Right.
the dev team was very comfortable with the early PlayStation era of cartoon mascots and level-based collectathons.
Right.
Infamous, however, was nothing like their previous hit.
Okay.
Heavily inspired by Batman No Man's Land, as well as Brian Wood and Riccardo Burchielli's
And see, and that's another thing, Chad. This just goes to show you, everything is inspiration. I mean, yes, niggas do be like, oh yeah, yes, someone can blatantly copy you or just take your whole style. But at the same time, this is why I say everything is an art. Because you see, a comic book can inspire a movie. A movie could inspire a rapper to make a movie. A rapper could inspire a doctor to go. You feel me? Like, everything is just art. Everything, that's what we're here to do, to create, to inspire, to push forward and keep going and move on. You know what I'm saying? Everything is inspiration. Everything has been done twice. Remember that.
DMZ, Infamous was set in a gritty and realistic looking open world with a comic book type aesthetic and fairly mature themes.
Right.
The premise was simple, yet immediately interesting to players. What would happen if a regular person like Bike Messenger and protagonist Cole McGrath suddenly got superpowers? I'm
not gonna lie, I went back and played this shit on hard mode. This shit was actually annoying. Like, the first time I played it on normal. I did the good route, and then I went back and played the bad route on hard mode. Bro, I don't know. That shit turned into a rage game at some point. I'm not lying, bro. Like, legit, bro. Like,
I saw something I shouldn't have, and now the Reapers are gunning for me. Now, you gotta help me. You gotta help me!
Ah, crap.
With the karma system, the answer to that question was up to the players.
also, was this the first game that had a karma system? I think that's why it was so big, I think, too. I think it was the whole karma system. I think that was probably one of the first time, or like the first concepts we seen, like morality or good and bad in a video game, like, actually matter to, like, the gameplay.
And while many of the choices you could make ended up being pretty lackluster, the system would go on to become a massive part of Infamous' legacy. Because it...
See, that's what I said. I don't think it was the choices or, like, the story itself. I think it was just the whole concept of it, because we probably never seen the game do that. Like how Red Dead had the honor. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't just implemented into the story beats. It was interwoven throughout all the game's major elements. The gameplay was really the shocking standout of Infamous. Sucker Punch managed to make superpowers feel fun and fresh, allowing players the free...
They dev did. The powers, and I'm not gonna lie, like, seeing this game does have a fire aesthetic too, because like when I see like you know, these type of the style of the PlayStation cover, like when people do like album covers, or like how they bite from the how they take something from like a PlayStation cover and remix it. This game does have some of the best, like, I think I actually said this before, but I will actually say this again. This game legit. I don't care what no one says. This game legit has one of the best like lighting and like powers. I don't know what other game, let me know what other game where nigga has powers, but this game does have the best feel to powers. It does. The way the lightning, like, I'm not gonna lie, the blue lightning looks good too. I don't like the red because I played the bad one more recently than the blue one. But nah, the aesthetic with the blue lightning, bro, this is one of the better looking, like, this is one of the best looking games and one of the best superhero games.
Freedom to really grow in a natural way by performing karmically good or bad deeds. They could customize their play experience through the use of experience points, and depending on a player's choices, they could perform different abilities.
Right.
This affected.
I can't remember the bad one as much as the good one because the gun was my first one, but I actually think the good powers, the blue, I think those powers are actually better in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
Everything from combat to the way the people of Empire City would react to Cole's presence. But while combat and karmic recognition were great, traversing the grimy city was just as fun. As you can see by the way Cole runs and climbs over obstacles, like a certain other Sony protagonist, Sucker Punch was definitely leaning into a movement
I never noticed that.
system.
Wait, is that Sony's thing? Like when they make action games, they gotta have some parkour or like scaling in there?
That would become a staple
Platformer?
for action-adventure games. But they put their own spin on it with the ability to freely parkour and grind on things like power cables and train rails. All combined, Infamous was an incredibly fun game to play.
It was.
Sucker Punch really let players live out their dream of slowly becoming a superpowered being capable of doing great and terrible deeds.
Right.
What's wrong with you? People are starving and you're stealing the only food they've seen in days?
I did it for us, to make sure we're taken care of.
I don't get you sometimes.
But that wasn't
I'm not gonna lie. I was actually disappointed when I played the bad one because I just remember, like, the more bad you get, how I say, like, you look more pale and your clothes look dirty. Actually, that shit pissed me off. I'm like, so because I'm bad, I gotta look like shit? Like, bad people, like, you could be a bad person and still look nice. You feel me? Like, just because you're a bad person don't mean you gotta look like shit. Like, I was just like, why I gotta look pale? And did I just look like someone threw shit on him?
the idea they initially started with. Surprisingly, even before it came out, Infamous underwent some significant changes.
Like what?
After the success of the first 3 Sly Cooper games, Sucker Punch actually pitched several new ideas to Sony. The one they decided to go with was tentatively titled True Hero.
Wow.
Even in this early stage,
New info. Never heard of this.
the game was very focused on morality, decision-making, and superheroes. Largely because, in game director Nate Fox's words,
Wanted to make a superhero game. A lot of that came from us being comic book nerds.
that's pretty much
And that's where all this shit stemmed from. Me being a video game nerd. You feel? Literally, I'm watching a video about someone talk about a video game. So, hey, you got a nerd. What is the definition of a nerd? I actually want to see, what is the definition of a nerd? Nerd definition. A person who is extremely enthusiastic and knowledgeable about a subject, especially one of specialist or niche interest. And think about it, growing up it was bad to be called a nerd. But now if someone told you there's a nerd about, that sounds good, right? Someone who's extremely enthusiastic and knowledgeable. Hey, all I'm gonna say is it's cool to be smart. Don't believe the hype. You know what I'm saying? New media. I'm pushing new messages and new agendas. That's my first agenda. You feel me? It's cool to be smart. That's my first agenda. It's cool to be smart. Don't believe the hype. It ain't nothing cool about being ignorant. Ain't nothing cool about being dumb. Ain't nothing cool about not being educated. It's cool to be a nerd. On me. What message?
much where the similarities between the first concept and the finished product stop, though. True Hero was originally conceived as a game more akin to Animal Crossing, where players roamed your city, tracked down criminals,
Whoa,
helped out
hold on, what? Sucker Punch Infamous, a superhero version of what? A superhero version of Animal Crossing. Wow. I never played Animal
The
Crossing, so I don't
citizens
know.
and did some light zoning work along the way, under the guise of your mild-mannered alter ego as a property developer. Throughout development, and thanks in large part to comic book writer Bill Harms, who was brought onto the project, the story got a lot darker and more complex, as did the decisions players were expected to make. Thus, the whole game changed around the karma system to make Infamous as we know it today.
Right?
Zap that guy and cut him loose. Or maybe I just walk away and leave him there to rot.
It's strange to think that Infamous started out as something so categorically different.
And see, that just goes to show you, just start. Like, it's a lot of other companies probably like that. Probably just like Sony. I don't think Sony was first this company, or I don't think who's Adobe, Microsoft, Amazon. I don't think none of them started. Didn't they say Microsoft started out as a bookshop, or just to sell books off of? He just sold books off Amazon. Now you could buy a whole lot more than that off there. So that's what you just start, and you move with the purpose and move accordingly. But you, like I said, you can have all the planning in the world, but you got to jump in that water. Like I say, you can have all the okay, move your arms like this and move your legs like this. You don't know how to swim until you actually get in that water. Simple.
But really, we can look back on its development as foreshadowing for the fate of the series.
Meaning?
Because despite all the developmental changes, Infamous released as a solid, highly polished gem in 2009. And after selling over 1 million copies in less than a year, it was clear that a sequel would be coming soon.
Yes, sir.
2011's Infamous 2 was definitely different from its previous.
I liked Infamous 2. I actually thought it was an upgrade. I think wasn't the city style New Orleans, I think, I would say I did like the transportation better, cause at least playing Infamous 1, I was like, damn, all we do is just run, climb, and like I did feel like sometimes the traveling was like a bit like tedious sometimes, but here I did feel like the transportation was not as bad. Like I do feel like, cause remember you could go up the pipes, that's a pause, but remember you could go through the electricity things. And then also, like, you could turn into like some type of thing.
Predecessor, and then it leaned much harder on the aspects of the game people liked and fully abandoned the ones that were received poorly. Practically every aspect of the first game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just made a better version of Infamous 1. That's why I think it was solid. I mean, I thought this was a good game. Like I said, everything we liked about 1, they made it better.
The game was revisited and reworked for the sequel. The visuals of the game pivoted quite a bit. The comic-like illustrations increased in both quality and quantity. Our protagonist was no longer sporting a heavy jacket, though his buzz cut remained after an E3 trailer showing Cole with longer hair caused a baffling amount of player backlash. Cole also moved and sounded different.
Oh, he did have a different voice actor. You get used to it after a while. I mean, yeah, it will fuck with you like the first 20, 30 hour of the game. But but you'll get used to it after a while.
Fans of the original might have remembered.
Homie, you got a little something in common.
Since Sucker Punch opted to replace voice actor Jason Cottle with Eric Layden when they started recording mocap and VO at the same time.
Wow. I ain't gonna lie, getting replaced while you're still working on the job is crazy. Like, imagine, like, you clock in and you're like 2-3 hours into the shift and they tell you, my bad son. But imagine you're like 2-3 hours into the shift and you clock in and they be like, once finish out your shift, but he's gonna take your job after you're done. We're gonna move you to this department. Like, what? While I'm still working, I'm already getting replaced?
The environments were rendered beautifully, with a pretty big graphical jump happening industry-wide around 2010.
Right.
And that also aided in Sucker Punch's new focus on cinematic combat. More superpower customization was put into Infamous 2, as well as a brand new melee weapon, giving players the option to get up close with their foes in a way that just wasn't as fun in the first game.
Right.
And Sucker Punch made sure that each close quarters encounter looked and felt epic. But no Infamous game would be complete without the karma system. In Infamous 2,
I ain't gonna lie, I do like cinematic combat. Or like I'm trying to think, like, games that I can't remember. I feel like games that do extra with the combat besides the combat. You know what I'm saying? But Like when you throw a grenade, I feel like there's I don't know what game it is. I just know off the top of my head I feel like it is, but like it's probably a game out there where it's like when you throw a grenade, like when it blows up and you do hit someone, fuck, what's that one game? Sniper Elite, or I don't know, the sniper game where in slow motion, you know what I'm saying, how you could shoot in slow motion and see everything going through the veins, intestines, and all that. You know what I mean? But bro, like I like when games like do more with or like Dead Space. Like I like the stomp feature in Dead Space, cause like I don't know, it's like how they made combat a looting technique. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just a combat move, but it's actually a looting method. Like I don't know, I just like when the combat does more than just combat. You know what I'm saying?
More meaningful player choice was
Bunch of nerd
implemented
shit.
into the story. But in an attempt to give players higher stakes, they subsequently cut players off from playing particular missions. This was frustrating to some, who didn't want any of the action walled off. It was clear from the change in Cole's hair to the controversially significant player choices that Sucker Punch was trying to take their players' criticisms to heart.
Right.
This propelled Infamous 2 into the third best-selling game on Sony's roster the month it came out, which meant that the developers were once again going to dip into the Infamous well for a third installment. But their player-pleasing tendencies would lead to the most controversial change in series history.
Right.
The end of Infamous 2 sees Cole McGrath take on the powers of the game's antagonist and become an all-power supervillain. But because it's a game about player choice, there was another ending. One where Cole sacrifices himself for the good of the world. And though the developers consider the former to be canon, over 70% of players chose the good ending of the game, meaning that for most returning players, Cole McGrath was dead.
Okay, I get it. I think I see now.
Creator.
Wait, hold on. So they were upset because of the endings? I mean, but you can't. I mean, I'm confused. I'm gonna need some more info.
For you, it's about more than getting the job done. You'll keep going until it's...
That's a pretty
See that AI shit?
big thing to consider when writing a game sequel. And when you...
So basically, they had to completely write him off because the way... That's why they came up with... what was his name? Delvin? I don't... They'll say it. But, bro... So, the players were upset because of the endings. So, the bad ending... You kill the villain and you absorb all his powers, or the good ending, you sacrifice yourself and you die but save the world. So the canon ending, why is good canon though? Honestly, I think you should just make a game that good enough that could explain both endings, honestly. At least me, that's how I would try to do it. I would try to make something where both endings make sense leading into the third game. Like so meaning it'll go out, but then it'll still meet like a roundabout. You know what I'm saying? So you could take both of these roads, but they still gonna lead you here instead of like, if you pick the bad ending, then that nigga, we forgot about him. But if you pick the good ending, it makes sense because he's dead.
Add to it the sudden influx of brand new players who were getting into gaming for the first time with the hugely popular PS4, Sucker Punch had a tough decision to make. Should they continue Cole's story, or should they begin anew?
But this the thing, bro.
Oh, I can get
Delson or Desmond?
you right between the eyes.
No, just...
What's this
be a
nigga
dick.
name, bro?
2014's infamous Second Son would
Wait, so from the last one said what, 2011? So it's what, 3-4 years since the other one had
take
came
the
out?
latter course of action, bringing a brand new protagonist to the third installment in the series.
What's his name?
But a new character meant more than just a change of face.
A new game.
Voiced and performed by the legendary Troy Baker, Delson Rowe was...
Delson, that was his name, Delson Rowe. I did not know Troy Baker is goated. Damn, I did not know that nigga voice acting a lot of your favorite characters. Damn. Wow.
Full of personality, unlike the late Cole McGrath, whose sidekick did most of the joking around.
What? It's kind of funny because aren't you a bioterrorist too?
Delson's
I'm not gonna lie, this was my first. Like I said, I was 7 years old when the first one came out, and if I did play it, I don't remember it. It's on the PlayStation Plus. That's when I played it for the first time, actually. But I actually don't. This was my first Infamous experience. It wasn't 1 or 2. Second Son. This was actually my first Infamous experience.
The authoritarian backstory made him a much more well-rounded character with quirks that Cole simply didn't possess. This gave the entire game a much lighter tone, and for some, it felt much less mature than the previous iterations. But conversely,
So people didn't like that? It was more funny and jokey, like it wasn't as dark? I mean, the nigga brother died. You could kill Hank in front of his daughter. I mean, this game does get dark.
plot of the game attempted to be much more sophisticated than its predecessors. The highly political story about post 9/11 government security and the mistreatment of Native Americans in the real-world city of Seattle made the karma system a little trickier than in the first two installments.
Is that what this was about? I thought it was just about the whole August. At least me. I mean, I do remember, yeah, the whole thing about him and his people, how they were native people and shit like that. I do remember that part of it. But I thought, at least to me, I didn't. I mean, if that was the whole, like, story or the whole message, they missed me. At least when I was a kid, I just remember Augustine.
Given the seeming
and get new powers
complexity of the issues at hand, the choices given to players often felt clumsy and underdeveloped. On top of this, with Delson's much more defined personality, it made some players feel forced to choose the side of good. There was also a new power set to
How you feel forced in a video game you bought in the comfort of your own home? What?
consider. Cole's explosive moves didn't really fit Delson, so combat had to be rethought. This also meant that the game's control...
What? I ain't gonna lie. What? You're not making sense to me, Button Mash.
The issues at hand, the choices given to players often felt clumsy and underdeveloped.
Okay.
On top of this, with Delson's much more defined personality, it made some players feel...
So because of his personality, they felt like they had to choose good.
forced to choose the side of good. There was also a new power set to consider. Cole's explosive moves didn't really fit Delson.
And Cole's powers didn't fit Delson's powers. Wait, is this what I'm saying? Is this opinion or this came from PlayStation?
So combat had to be rethought. This also meant that the game's controls and movement system were totally reworked, with Delson's powers playing a huge part in how...
Man, I mean, of course you get the angel and the neon powers after this, but bro, the smoke transportation? I mean, now the smoke vents are fire, but bro, neon was the best form of transportation
Players
on this
traverse
game.
them.
Especially, and but I ain't gonna cap, I played the good playthrough first. I was so salty, bro. I was so salty when if you play the bad game or if you play the bad path. If you play the bad path, bro, like you get infinite neon when you play the bad path. So I actually thought the bad powers were better. The bad powers were better actually on Infamous here.
map. And since Delson's powers were brand new to him, players were once again on the journey of learning and honing their craft.
What's up? What's up? I see I got some viewers in the chat. I see y'all ain't typing, but I appreciate y'all. If y'all just gonna enjoy the show, I appreciate you for tuning in. Even if you ain't listening, just watch and go away somewhere. Hey.
They left off with a pre-established super being. For many, this was actually a highlight, because Delson's power set was not only far more in-depth than Cole's had ever been, but every move looked beautiful. The game is gorgeous and still stands up to scrutiny today.
It do. I don't know what was the screw. I mean, I enjoyed this game. I don't know who got something to say about what.
The comic book aesthetic from the first two games was largely abandoned, leaving room for Delson's graffiti art motif. But it worked.
And I'm gonna say, any company that's making a game, bro, I don't care what nobody. If you're making a third-person action game, we have to be able to customize the character. I don't know why, but tell me, like a character that wear the same fit the whole game. Tell me that shit don't get boring, or you just be like, damn, I wish I could change the outfit. Like any game where you can't change the outfit and it's third person is a L. I'm sorry. I don't know. There's probably some good games out there where the protagonists were the same thing, but I don't know, bro. I got ADHD. I need to be able to switch and, you know what I'm saying, see different things, do different things type shit.
Particle and lighting effects of Delson's powers were unmatched at the time, and the rainy sea...
But yeah, because I remember playing like the Infamous one. What? Infamous first one. The first Infamous, I hate that we only just wore a jacket and that was it, honestly.
Seattle weather was rendered in ways modern gaming audiences had never seen before. Sucker Punch really played this up, filling the world with neon lights, natural sunlight, and the bright colors associated with Delson.
And I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of games that don't hold the test of time, but bro, even I played the first Infamous, bro. That game legit stands. That game still looks good, And I played it on the PC with the PC monitor, all, you know, PC monitor settings all jacked up and all that good shit. But bro, this was like, man.
Various
like the game still looks good. That's what I'm trying to say.
powers. On the whole, Second Son has the lowest reviews of all the games except the supplemental prequel Infamous First Light. But despite the criticisms of the story, main character, and misuse of the series' karma system, the visuals and fun factor were enough for most.
That's what I'm saying. So this game was, so to the fans out there, the fans think that this game was not as successful because of, I mean, I don't know, it was fun. Like I say, if it's fun, that's all that matter. I could give a damn about the story, the lighting, the FPS. If the game is fun, that's all that matters, bro. If you have a fun time, a good time playing the game, that's all that matters. Simple.
Game outsold all of its predecessors and became one of the best-selling PS4
Facts.
titles, moving over 1 million copies in just 9
Nah,
days.
this is a PS4
By now,
hit.
you should recognize the pattern.
Nah, when the PlayStation 4 first dropped, this was when PS4 was, oh my god, when we had the touchpad. 1 second, chat. My bad, chat.
Pattern of Infamous selling well and getting another installment greenlit. But as of recording, that hasn't happened.
Wait, what? They said they have been greenlit for another one?
Infamous selling well and getting another installment greenlit. But as of recording,
Wait,
PS4
so there's still the potential. It was greenlit. They sold well enough to get greenlit. They just haven't done anything about it yet.
titles moving over 1 million copies in just 9 days. By now, you should recognize the pattern of Infamous selling well and getting another installment greenlit. But as of recording, that hasn't happened.
Oh, okay.
While
okay.
rumors of another game have been
It says right now. Bruh, I think, bruh, we need another Infamous for the culture.
floating around for
We need another Infamous for the culture, bro.
years, Sucker Punch has no official plans to return to the series. After all their experimentation, drastic changing, and player pleasing, they still dropped Infamous. But the question is, why? Infamous is still fun.
It is.
No matter which iteration players jumped into for their first time, there was plenty of enjoyment to be had with the series' super-powered antics.
Facts.
The most realistic answer is that the developers have moved on to bigger and arguably better things.
No, they haven't. I could go into a whole spiel, but I ain't finna go there.
And it's preferable to go out willingly with respect before you're forced out by failure. To go from Sly Cooper to Infamous to Ghost of Tsushima is no small feat. And Sucker Punch doesn't make a habit of revisiting a series.
All right, and with that being said, though, I mean, the second one is coming out, but as of right now, do you think Ghost of Tsushima is better than Infamous? To anyone watching this, and you heard what he just said, do Sucker Punch, do you think Ghost of Tsushima is better than Infamous? Y'all let me know.
After they're done with them. But who's to say they can't break that habit? There's still time for Sucker Punch to build up their karma and give Infamous the good ending it deserves.
Or if not, yeah, y'all should, yeah, just give us a little shit. Even if y'all gave us a 1 hour game and then just to be like, here, nigga, damn, we'll play that shit. We would.
Thanks so much for watching today's video. Be sure to let us know in the comments whether you'd like to see another Infamous game. And while you're at it, like the video and subscribe to Nerdstalgic Gaming if you want more content like this.
And I love that video. Shout out to Button Mash. Shout out to Button Mash.